I thought I was broke. Turns out my mom was stealing my allowance and sending it to my sister. So, I'm a 20-year-old guy, currently in my junior year studying computer science at NYU. Yeah, New York City. It's beautiful, it's exciting, and it's hellishly expensive. Between overpriced coffee, rent that could fund a small village, and textbooks that cost more than gold, I'm basically living paycheck to paycheck. I live in a cramped, shoebox-sized dorm, work 2 part-time jobs, and survive on a diet that would make a nutritionist weep. At night, I stock shelves at a grocery store in Brooklyn. On weekends, I do freelance debugging and code review gigs on Upwork. Nothing glamorous, but it pays just enough to get by. Barely. Most nights, I get back to my dorm around 2 a.m., too exhausted to even shower. I eat whatever's cheap and fast. Microwave noodles, $1 pizza slices, sometimes just cereal with water if I'm low on cash. I've even had weeks where it was just plain rice with ketchup. And before you ask, yes, it's taking a toll. I'm tired all the time, my grades are slipping, and I haven't seen the inside of a restaurant in months. Most of my friends stopped inviting me to hang out because I always turn them down. Not because I don't want to, but because I literally can't afford it. Now, to be clear, I didn't expect luxury. My dad made it clear from the start. He had savings set aside for both me and my younger sister, Maya. "You'll both be fine," he said. "Just focus on school. I've got you." My dad's a senior financial analyst, very numbers-driven, very practical. He's the one who taught me how to budget when I was 14. I've always looked up to him. He's not the emotional type, but he's dependable, consistent. The kind of guy who doesn't say much, but always shows up when it counts. My mom, though, she's different. She's softer, more emotional, the nurturing type. And she's always had a soft spot for Maya. Maya's 18, just started her first year studying fashion design in London. She's creative, charismatic, and honestly, she's always gotten her way. When we were kids, she'd cry for a new phone and she'd get it. I'd ask for a new backpack and my mom would say, "Yours is still fine." When she wanted to go to an expensive art camp in Italy at 14, my dad said it wasn't in the budget. But my mom? She found a way. She always found a way, for her. I didn't think much of it back then. I figured, Mom's just protective. Maya's the younger one. I didn't resent it. We weren't very close anyway. 2 years apart, but it felt like 10. Different interests, different lives. She lived in her Instagram aesthetic, and I lived in IDEs and late-night Stack Overflow rabbit holes. Anyway, when I got into NYU, Dad sat me down and said, "I've got money saved up for you. Your tuition's handled. I'll also be sending you a monthly allowance to help with living expenses. Just focus on your grades." At the time, it felt like a huge weight off my shoulders. But when the semester started, that allowance never showed up. First week, I thought maybe there was a delay. Second week, I sent my mom a casual, "Hey, just checking in" text. She said she'd look into it, but nothing happened. Then a month passed. Still no money. I didn't want to seem ungrateful or demanding, so I didn't press it. I figured maybe Dad was waiting for me to prove I could manage on my own or something. So, I did. I picked up the jobs. I cut corners. I stretched every dollar like it was elastic. But as the months passed, it wore me down. I lost weight. I was constantly cold, constantly tired. I stopped buying fresh groceries, stopped going out. Just work, class, crash, repeat. Then one night, it all came crashing down. I'd just gotten back from a 6-hour shift. I was shivering. I hadn't eaten a proper meal in 2 days. My stomach was killing me. I had a low-grade fever. I could feel it. Something was off. I called Maya. Not out of sentimentality, but because I was spiraling, and I guess I just needed to hear a familiar voice. She picked up, sounding chipper. "Hey, what's up?" I told her I wasn't feeling great, that I'd probably caught something. And in her usual bubbly tone, she goes, "Ugh, same here. I spent so much money this week, I had to eat at this cheap cafe near campus. Like, no truffle oil, no wine pairing. Can you believe it? I laughed awkwardly. Then she says, "Anyway, Mom said she increased my allowance this month, since London's been so pricey. It's been a lifesaver. You should ask for the same." That's when I froze. Increased your allowance? Yeah. What, you didn't get one too? I hung up not long after, pretending I was too tired to talk. I couldn't sleep that night. The next morning, I booked a last-minute ticket home for fall break. I didn't tell my parents. I just showed up. When my mom opened the door, she looked surprised. Happy, but surprised. Gave me a big hug and said, "You should have told us. I'd have cooked something special." But there was something off in her eyes, like she was recalculating. My dad wasn't home yet, so I waited. The next night, we sat down for dinner, just the three of us. Maya was still in London, obviously. We were chatting about nothing in particular, when my dad casually asked, "By the way, is the $2,000 monthly allowance still covering your expenses? Let me know if you need more. NYC's no joke." I stopped mid-bite. What allowance? The room went dead silent. My mom's fork clinked against her plate. My dad looked confused. "The monthly transfer," he said. "I've been putting $2,000 aside for you every month since August. Your mom said she was handling it." My stomach sank. My mom looked pale. My dad turned to her. "You did set it up, right?" That's when it all came out. She hadn't sent me a dime. She'd been rerouting the allowance, my allowance, to Maya. For months, without telling anyone. Not me, not Dad. And Maya? She had no clue either. My mom said she thought Maya needed the money more. "London's expensive," she said, "and she's so far from home. I just wanted her to be comfortable." I was furious, but I was also exhausted. My dad, though, I've never seen him that angry. Not loud, just cold. He turned to her and said, "That money was for both of them. You stole from your own son." I didn't even know what to say. I just sat there staring at my plate of lukewarm pasta, trying not to fall apart. The next morning, my dad took me to the bank, set up a new account, transferred every dollar I was owed. 5 months' worth. He apologized, genuinely, not just for the money, but for not noticing sooner. I went back to New York with a little more money, but a lot less faith in people. When Maya found out, she was genuinely upset, said she had no idea, and I believed her. But when Dad cut her allowance in half to balance things out, she flipped, said it was unfair, said I was overreacting. We haven't talked much since. My mom tried to apologize too, but it didn't feel real. She was sorry she got caught, not sorry she did it. And now? Well, I'm doing better. I still work sometimes. Less out of need, more out of habit. I've rebuilt some savings, started eating real food again. I even went out with friends last weekend, for the first time in forever. But I'll never forget what that felt like, knowing my own mom thought I could survive on scraps so her favorite could live comfortably. So if you're watching this, or listening, or just scrolling by, check in on your quiet friends. The ones who say they're managing. Because sometimes managing means skipping meals and working 2 jobs just to pretend everything's okay. And sometimes, the people you trust most are the ones quietly choosing someone else over you.